3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Triad of the Followers podcast, a podcast from 3 Puerto Rican friends coming together to do deep dives into Star Wars and other nerd-related media. These are our Kenobi Fridays, where we talk about the series Obi-Wan Kenobi episode by episode, today focusing on part 4. More than halfway through, everybody. Oh my God.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes, but joining us today in this awesome discussion is the amazing NoorHal for the first time here on the Triad podcast. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello there. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I see what you did there. I see what you did.
We always love
it's
the
only
hello
appropriate.
there.
And we haven't gotten it. Because I know part 3, there was like that one part when he's in the MAGA truck and he says like, hello, and everyone's just like, he's saying it, and then it didn't happen. So they're teasing us. So thank you for doing the hello there before Ewan McGregor did.
Awesome.
Before we get going, again, welcome. Thanks for joining us. It's been a long time coming. I know you and I have been like chatting a bit on the Twitters to like try to coordinate something, and you know, life happens, so we weren't able to get anything going. So good to actually have it happen with Kenobi. It somehow feels even more appropriate.
I know, right? Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I'm really happy to finally be here and ready to talk Kenobi. Definitely.
Oh my God. We can talk Kenobi all day. But before we get going, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I think we met each other like when we were doing some of the Geeky Waffle Mandalorian watches a couple of years ago. So why don't you tell us, like how you got into like Star Wars, like because you're a big Twitter presence. And you contributed to the Geeky Waffle. I think you've contributed to The Force as well. So give us a little bit of your Star Wars background before we get rocking and rolling here with Kenobi.
Yeah, of course. Definitely happy to talk about. Well, I have to say that I wasn't a Star Wars fan until 2015, when right before The Force Awakens was going to be released. I mean, I knew that Vader is Luke's father, like just the
oh no, they spoiled it. No,
they spoiled it. But I know cultural references, like things that everyone knows. But I wasn't like into Star Wars. I hadn't watched the original trilogy, and then I saw this the trailer for The Force Awakens, and it was going to be Halloween, and I love going pop crawl during Halloween. And I thought, wait a minute, that character, I don't know about her, but I like her costume. And I wore the costume on Halloween, and it was funny because it was before the movie was released.
Interesting.
And some people was like, oh yeah, you're the new character from Star Wars. But there was a drunk guy on a car like, are you Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Oh my God.
Like, really? No. But hello there.
Well, could have been Ray Kenobi.
Exactly. You know? Missed opportunity. So no, and everyone was like, I don't understand how you're dressed as a Star Wars character and you're not familiar with Star Wars. And I said, okay, let's do a marathon. And I was just like, okay, just to be able to understand the new one. Yeah. But for me, it was like, oh my God, why? Why it took me so long to find a Star Wars? I love this. And from then on, I got into the fandom, into Star Wars, and I've been loving it ever since.
Especially Star Wars Twitter, because everyone knows that Star Wars Twitter is very polite and no one hates each other there.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like Regina George, you know, that scene of Mean Girls where everyone is fighting and she's standing like that. Sometimes it feels like that.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's the best Twitter presence to have. It's just like, it's just like, hey, I'm just here to enjoy things. I'm riding the wave. You guys want to fight? You guys go ahead and fight. We're not going to engage in negativity.
Yeah.
It's the best way. We try to do the same. I don't know.
We try.
It's sometimes difficult because it's just like, oh my God, that's such a bad take that we have to say something. So I mean, that's great. That's wonderful to hear that you're. It's always
really
good to
cool
hear when
story.
someone got into Star Wars like
later.
recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Everyone's always used to the same stories. Like, well, I watched it when I was growing up, and my parents
Yeah.
showed it to me.
Yeah.
It's boring. That's all. That's all of us. So it's
Well,
always cool to be like, no, I discovered it.
Yeah.
I discovered it myself
Yeah.
later.
And I
So
watched it because I just loved the costume. And then suddenly mind opened.
Yeah.
To the
It's
awesomeness
like,
of Star Wars. Yeah.
I saw
Definitely
the
a different
light.
entry point.
That is the
Like,
best.
see, the sequel trilogy is great. So I don't care what anyone says. Sequel trilogy is awesome.
Mhm.
If you weren't for it, you wouldn't be here right
everything-
now.
everything's good.
Exactly. There you go.
Uh, so before we get going into like part 4 of Kenobi, though, obviously you're a Rey Kenobi fan, apparently. So what were you thinking about Obi-Wan Kenobi going into the show before it came out, and what have you thought of like parts 1 through 3 so far?
Well, I gotta be honest. When they announced that there were gonna be a series, I was really excited. Like, Ewan McGregor, of course, is
Oh yeah.
wonderful, and having him, of course, I always wanted, like, from 2015 onwards, like, yeah, we should have a Kenobi, because they were supposed to do 3 solo films. So I was like, yes, please do the Kenobi film be the 3rd. But having a series, especially in this age and era where we have these fantastic television and fantastic series,
Oh,
I
yeah.
said, yeah, I mean, the more, because it's more like, instead of having just 2 hours, you can have almost 6, or sort of, but you have more presence. And of course, I try to limit my expectations, because that's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yep, it is.
Especially with Star Wars, yeah.
And you try
Yep.
to, because you want, oh yeah, I want this and this and that. But one of the things I wanted, like, you know what? I go with no expectations. There's things that I hope and I wish I would
Yeah.
love to have. But at the end of the day, I think Deborah Chow is a fantastic director, and
Mhm.
I really hope that they deliver a story that fits into the whole story for Obi-Wan. And I
Yeah.
mean, so far, part 1, 2, 3 has been really, it's really great, because it has focused on the character study of
Yep.
Obi-Wan, like, not focusing, oh yeah, all these adventures and blah, go and fast. It's what it means for him. And I haven't read the books yet, the Brotherhood and the other ones, but I think how difficult for him was to, from being a master on the Jedi Council and having Anakin. I was just thinking, when people was, oh, but how Riva found out that Bail Organa was a close link to Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you think about it, he lost everyone else. I mean, he lost Anakin, he lost Padme, he lost the rest of the Jedi Council, he lost Satine. Like, everyone who was important for him is gone. So it's hard, and I've been enjoying it so much.
I do like that because it's interesting for me, because some of the criticisms that I read online are this is like, oh, well, Obi-Wan's just like, they're just like powered down Obi-Wan and he's just losing everything. It's just like, well, that's kind of the point. I mean, he's been a hermit in a cave for 10 years, afraid to reveal himself, cut off from the Force. I mean, you don't practice a skill for 1 year and you're not gonna be that good when you start up again. Imagine like being afraid to use your skills and not using them for 10 years and being traumatized to use them, because everyone that used those skills have been hunted down and killed, and you're not gonna do too well. And then you're, the person you thought was your brother and your friend, all of a sudden it's like this evil 7-foot black man that's just coming down, towering over you, trying to murder you. You're not gonna have the best lightsaber fight, because I wouldn't. So I wouldn't expect Obi-Wan to either. So it's just like, I like that they had that nuance to kind of have Obi-Wan be a defeated person and not have skills.
You have to watch the struggle, because otherwise it's not believable. I mean, if he just showed up like all uber powerful and everything, it's like, oh, then it doesn't matter to you that your entire culture and people got destroyed. You don't care. So,
I mean, I'm gonna bring the MCU here, but just what we saw with Thor in 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look at him. Yeah.
I mean, any
Completely
character,
defeated. Yeah.
any character needs to have a journey, and if your character is the same one that we saw before, then what's the point of continuing that story? So it's like, no, there has to be trials, there have to be tribulations, there have to be highs, there have to be lows for the character to kind of develop. And if we're just like, that's what I get upset sometimes with the expectations that some fans have. It's just like they just want to have like that legacy of that badass image of what they think something should be, and that entitlement of what the story is doesn't allow for creative storytelling. And I think that this story so far has been pretty amazing. I mean, it's been above and beyond what I thought we were going to get, especially with episode 4, which I think, not episode 4, part 4, which has taken like a deviation. I've seen a lot of mixed reactions on the internet. I mean, on the constructive side of the internet. Obviously, all the haters are gonna hate.
Have been hating from the beginning, so
exactly. So we're not they're the ones review bombing on Rotten Tomatoes, so we're not gonna care about them. So let's be constructive here. I know I've heard from a couple of different of you some of your initial reactions. So let's get into it. Part 4 of Obi-Wan Kenobi obviously sees Obi-Wan reeling from his defeat at the hands of his former Padawan, Anakin Skywalker, now Darth Vader. And Leia has been kidnapped by Reva. So things are going down. Maybe not the things that some of us expected were going to go down.
Yeah.
Shea Jackson's character has been revealed, which was unfortunately not Quinlan Vos.
Yeah,
I know.
Like everyone was expecting. Which that's the problem also with like starting to do our fan theories. Because then it's just here we come. And it's like, oh, it's not what I wanted. But just because it's not what you wanted doesn't mean it's bad.
It's not good. Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's get started with some initial reactions of if we liked the episode, we didn't like it. Some, initial reactions to it. NoorHal, you're our guest. Why don't we start with you? What do you think of part 4?
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I enjoy it because it had, like you said, he started at this point, the back to tank. Obi-Wan Kenobi in a back to tank.
Yeah.
It was too short. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And he was in boxer briefs. He was in boxer briefs. He wasn't in tighty whities like Luke was. So
yeah,
I was confused about that. Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoy it because I can feel, and I read somewhere about having that these 4 parts have been in some way reflecting the episodes. And episode 4,
I read that too.
Yeah, part 4. Yeah, now that I heard about it, it's like, wait a minute. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it works because we had Leia, prisoner of the Empire. We have the Adiko. Well, Tala is an Empire officer, but she infiltrates to this Empire base, or the Inquisitorium. And then we have Obi-Wan also sneaking around like he did on the Death Star.
Yeah.
So yeah, I truly enjoy this episode, this part 4. Like you said, of course, I had to rein my expectations. Like, wait a minute, I wanted flashbacks. I wanted, but you know what?
Especially when you started in the back to tank and you're like, it's gonna happen, and then it doesn't.
Like
it's the Book of Boba Fett moment.
Yes.
And then it's like, oh no, it didn't happen. Okay.
Hey Mo, what about you? What did you think going into part 4 and leaving part 4 too? That's more important.
Well, it's like NoorHal said, it's like part 4 is A New Hope. It's the like we had everything else like kind of like be episode by episode, which is what, like, once you understand that's what's happening, it's kind of like, like your expectations just shift again. It's like, okay, I'm not getting whatever I thought I was getting. I'm getting like a retelling of the story. And I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get the flashback, or at least like Liam Neeson. Like,
Yet.
Like it was a perfect.
Still hoping for that one.
We're in the
Still
back
hoping.
to tag. You had
Yeah.
you made a very short episode. Come on.
Yes, that's the problem.
So, but you had all the elements of like, the go and save Leia. Like this time it's like Obi-Wan. Like it gives credence to like the shout out when like Leia's like, Obi-Wan, please, like I need your help again. Like of course, like that's who you reach out for. Like and then like to me, the most touching moment of the episode that just like I just like 2 tears went down when like baby Leia holds like
his
Obi-Wan's
hand.
thing. Like I was like, and then just like stumbles back. Like you feel like she was like so comfortable at that moment. Like like, and how needed is that? Like as not only kids, like, but as like as a society, like to feel comfortable and like let down of like feel safe. And I think that was like the ultimate like feeling of it. Like, oh, you feel safe, which is like knowing now that it's gonna follow the episodes, you know that next episode everything is not gonna be safe. Like,
yeah.
So
we
like
get
we know
Empire
it's gonna be
next,
it's
so
gonna be
we're gonna see what happens with
Empire.
We're gonna see. I mean, Reva already has the plan. Like, has the
yes, el imperio.
so.
Agreed.
A beautiful episode nonetheless.
Yeah, the filmmaking was amazing. The cinematography was great. I really liked like the use of color and darkness and light. It was very well filmed. But before we get into all that technical stuff, Nani, I think you've got the spiciest of the takes.
Yeah,
out of all 4 of us.
Yeah.
I was disappointed by the episode, honestly, because I hadn't yet made the connection that it's like mirroring the films. So I hadn't it hadn't clicked to me. I just had like, it's been grabbing steam from part 1, like each episode grabbing like a little bit more tension, and then, getting horror Vader in part 3. And then this one I was like, oh, this is kind of boring. I was expecting it, for the momentum to keep going. But I mean, with the analysis that we're doing now, it does make sense. But still, I mean, it was the shortest episode. And to me, it felt like the longest.
Yeah.
And it was so, because that opening sequence in the back to tanks was so good. Yes. I always love it when it's more, show don't tell. You don't need a ton of dialogue all the time, just with the images, and especially with this series that the images have been so impactful. It was so good that you don't really, it's just the flashbacks and then the comparison of like Obi-Wan just like one side of the body burned, but then that close-ups on Vader and like just dead skin and ending here in the limb, and just like the sounds of the mask through the water and the flashbacks of, and so I wish that scene would have been longer and they would have explored it a little bit more, that connection and that reversal of their roles now, and which would work a lot more to just like this defeatist attitude of Obi-Wan and how he has to like kind of bring himself back. Because what Mo had said, that scene, totally made me cry when Leia grabbed Obi-Wan's hand at the end, which again, no dialogue, just the emotion and showing, the action of that connection between them that harkens back towards the beginning of the episode when he's having the conversation with Tala, that he's trying to use the Force, but is having to struggle with moving something very small. And Tala's like, are you okay?
Yeah.
If you care about Leia, you need to let go of the past and move forward. Do you care about her? Yes. And then you see when they touch hands at the end, it's like him accepting that he does truly care for her. And I think in the next episode, we're going to see a lot of growth from Obi-Wan after this episode, because it is really hard to watch him struggle, because it's a character that we love so much and he's been so strong for so many of the things that we've watched, especially the most recent being Clone Wars, where we got to see him be a soldier and a general and a master and incredibly powerful. And then to watch him in this episode finally use his lightsaber, to protect and to fight instead of just, lighting it from fear. Because he just lit it from absolute terror when he used it against Vader. And he was just retreating this whole time. This one, it was to protect and attack. And, watching him light it in the darkened room where you see the blue suddenly come out. That was, as soon as the room went dark, I was, please, light your saber in the darkness. Do the thing. Do the thing. And then to watch him kind of struggle, and how the way he's using his lightsaber is way less refined than it used to be. He's just, you can see he's reacting and it's more like brutal and trying to get it back, but then somehow in certain sequences he finds his like original moves, so we see some of his classic moves from like Clone Wars and stuff, combined with
Yes.
like the desperate action and trying to use the Force. And I don't know, I enjoyed it more on the rewatch because at this point my expectations
There we
were
go.
down. So I knew so that it wasn't going to be this bombastic thing, and I needed to focus on the details more. And
Mhm.
yeah, now I've changed my mind. I like part 4 too.
There we go. There we
Yes.
go. I will admit I had a similar journey
Yeah.
to you because I'm just like, okay, I'm like
Mhm.
this is everything. I'm gonna get everything. We've been eating so well at this Obi-Wan buffet on parts 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm just like, well, we're gonna keep eating
And we're getting
straight the
Quinlan,
same way.
and we're getting everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when I was watching like part 4, and I was just like, oh, this is a jailbreak again, and I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, so we're not eating as well. But then I realized that we are eating very well. We're just eating a different meal this time. And once like I kind of like reconfigured that, it's just like, oh, okay, well, let's just look at what the episode is instead of just like what I wanted it to be. And that's when I started enjoying the episode more. It's just like when I kind of detach myself and look at it objectively instead of like the entitled way of just like what I want the episode to be.
Yeah.
So I agree, Nani, 100% what you were saying with the beginning of the episode. That was like so cool
It
to
was
like
so
have
good.
the back to tank. The back to tank was so important to start framing like that connection between two broken men and that
Exactly.
connection. And especially what's interesting with the back to tank is that they're both submerged in water. And I think water is the most important thing like in this episode because it's used both as a tool for healing, but also as a
Yes.
tool for oppression. Which I'll get to like when I go back into what I was thinking about for the Fortress Inquisitorius.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
yeah, to have like water present throughout the whole episode and have it framed in one like uplifting. Because if you look at the water in the back to tank, it's clear, it's very
Mhm.
bright. It's just it's healing waters. And then counterpoint it with the water when we go to Fortress Inquisitorius, and then it's just like sickly,
Cloudy.
it's green,
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
it's oppressive. So like it's
Mhm.
always like the water in the Fortress Inquisitorius is a threat instead of being what water is normally thought of. It's just like springs,
Mhm.
it's just something that refreshes and gives life. And not on Nur. Water is just as deadly on Nur as it is as lava is on Mustafar. So I think that was
Yes.
a really interesting dichotomy, how Nur
Yeah.
is a water moon and Mustafar is a lava planet, but one is water,
Equally
one is fire,
deadly.
but they're both equally as a dark sidey, right? As the
Menacing.
water
Yes.
should be.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really clever. I really enjoyed it. I did think that the length of the episode was a double-edged sword because
Mhm.
I was just like, I got used to it again. I'm just like, oh, okay, long episodes. I like this.
Yeah.
I think Star Wars needs longer episodes because even though Mando has done very good with like condensed storytelling, after watching Stranger Things season 4, I'm just like, hey, I like long episodes too.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I'm like, give me a little more content, especially with that scene with O'Shea Jackson. I forgot his character's name, but it's just, I mean,
Correct.
lots of people are giving that scene more hate than it needs. I'm just like, it's a show, it's storytelling. Sometimes you need to kind of move the plot along. So it didn't bother me that much that he changed his mind that quickly. But I think if the show had kind of been a little longer, we could have fleshed out that scene more so that it felt a little more organic. How he's changing his mind from like, oh, I'm not gonna help you to like, okay, fine, I'll help you.
Right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Roken is the
Exactly.
character.
Exactly. Roken. Not Quinlan Voss, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's the problem with our fan theories, even though we
Yep.
will be doing fan theories at the end of this episode.
Of course, yeah.
Because we're gluttons for pain, so we're
Yeah.
doing it.
But then I feel like the problem was, like you were saying, like there were things that were completely explored and then other things kind of dragged. Because as good as the interrogation scenes with Leia were, sometimes they were, I think, too long.
Mhm.
And then when Tala did the whole "I'm a spy, I'm not a spy" thing revealed, I feel like that was a little bit too long, and that could have been used more to, in the planning stage of the whole thing. You could have invested more also in when you discover that the whole fortress is a tomb for Jedi, and then you don't really talk about it again.
Yeah.
It's like really screwed up. And you're like, oh my God, this is horrible. And then it's like, oh, okay, never mind. We're not going to talk about this anymore. And then they just kind of leave that flat. So there were things in the episode that I feel that dragged it a little bit, and then other areas that should have been explored a little bit more. And that's what made it a little bit jarring for me this episode. Even though it's still obviously soundtrack amazing, visuals amazing, everything is gorgeous. The acting is so good from everybody, honestly. I don't understand why some actors are getting hate on this because everybody's
Well,
been
we know why.
We
Yeah.
know.
It has to do with some
with
things
hate.
that yeah.
Yeah, but
Racism.
yeah,
But it's interesting though, because if you look at the episode as a whole from the outside, when you're done watching it and you think about it from the outside, technically like this episode's the hero's journey, right? For Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I agree.
He has the refusal to the call, then he accepts the calling, crosses the threshold when he goes into the water, goes into the, like when he's in Fortress Inquisitorius, that's his cave moment. And then at the end, like he has that transformation where he like faces the beast and has to encounter himself and accepts that call. And that's when he's rescuing Leia and he actually turns on the lightsaber out of defense and out of like wanting to turn it on and wanting to defend her and actually accepting that he's the Jedi and that this is what he's meant to do, as opposed to part 3 where he's turning the lightsaber out of fear. He's not he doesn't want to do it. He's doing it out of fear. And like in part 4, he's like, no, well, I am Obi-Wan Kenobi. So like I have to do this. So he's finally embraced, especially when you compare with how he used the Force at the beginning and struggling to like get the comm link or whatever he was trying to pick up and struggling. And then at the end, it's like holding back hundreds of thousands of gallons of water.
And then like, actually able to kind of aim it and break the rest of the glass of it.
Exactly, to go to the around the bad guys.
That was so good. I was like, oh no, this is gonna be bad. He's not controlling this whatsoever.
He's gonna die. He's gonna die in this episode. Yeah.
Turn. It's like, yes, Obi-Wan.
Yes.
There were some issues though that I have with Fortress Inquisitorius, as much as I loved it, because it's from Jedi Fallen Order, and I've talked on this podcast ad nauseum how much I love that video game, because that video game's amazing. So it's always good to see something from a video game, from any media, kind of jump into live action.
Of course.
But all of a sudden for me, it was kind of interesting because I'm like, oh, this is kind of the same exact thing that happened in Fallen Order when they go to Fortress Inquisitorius. It's just like Cal has to rescue something, has to confront an Inquisitor, and then at the end there's some glass cracking and some powerful Jedi user is, blocking the water so that, so I was just like, it's fine, I accept it, but I was like, this is a little too similar for me, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just almost too one-to-one. Because rescuing Leia, it's a callback to episode 4, but it's different because she's a baby or somewhere else, and it's a different person rescuing her. But the Fortress Inquisitorius
is
still a badass. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
They still put a homing beacon on the Millennium Falcon, and here is Lula. I mean, not Lula.
Lola.
I forget the name. Lola. Thank you.
Which was really sad that they used Lola like a
I
double-edged
know.
sword. That really upset me. It's like, I love her.
Droid rights.
Yes.
Like L3.
Yes. Good, right.
Droids have consciousness. It's not fair what they do to them.
It's not fair.
No.
But one thing that I liked, I agree with you that the structure was a little bit too similar to Fallen Order. But one of the things I find it amusing is that how, of course, Tala used her codes and posed as an officer. But I think it followed the tradition of other, like Rogue One, Episode 4, that having this infiltrating, you wearing like even the Mandalorian, right, with
the fake credentials and the
fake
whole thing.
credentials. But one of the things that I was thinking on the second my rewatch is like how it's interesting. We're in the middle of the episode life, the life of the Empire, that 10 years so far. So you can see how everyone, all the members of the Empire are dominated by fear, because when this guy, the officer in the Inquisitorium, starts telling her, and she's like, you have to call me sir. And
you can see the fear.
So it's interesting how everyone, all the officers are afraid of a superior and like all the pyramid, the scale up to reaching the emperor. But you can see that they use the fear as a tool, but at the same time, the fear could be used, and we see all through this media, as a tool to infiltrate for the good guys. So
it cuts both ways. Like it's a power for control, but also
because he makes everybody so afraid they can't even ask questions. Because he's like, you're not supposed to be here. You're below me. Don't ask questions. Let me through. That's basically
call me sir.
I do love that though. When a man is trying to be like in control and she's like, I'm your superior officer, call me sir. Be respectful.
Yes.
Bow down to me now. Thank you. So I did love that exchange. I thought it was great. And
Which
she's
is
amazing.
I
Awesome.
know.
Yeah,
I
I'm
love
so glad
that.
we got to see her because I felt like they did her dirty in Game of Thrones because we never got to see her
I
again after they
know.
locked
I
her up
know.
in jail. And it's like
Justice for Ilaria Sand.
And her character in the books was so interesting, and they kind of just like rid her off from the show. A lot of the female characters in the books were so interesting, and they were done so dirty in the show.
Of course,
So
of course they
Same.
were.
I agree.
because yeah,
reasons.
yeah.
But it's interesting. It's interesting to your point, NoorHal, about like fear in the empire. And we talked about it a little bit. And which part was it? Whatever. Which part 2 or 3? Whatever. Who cares? There hasn't been that many episodes. We were talking about how the Inquisitorium, right? Like where all the Inquisitors are, is kind of like the anti-Jedi Council to an extent. Just because they are a council. They have a collective table. They sit in a room where they discuss things, but even visually, right? It's different where like the Jedi are up in the clouds and a place with sunlight and everything's just looking up, down at the people that they serve, and it's a place of collaboration. The Inquisitorius is underwater. They don't have access to see who they're serving because Vader's even on another planet. Again, they're like in this sickly environment, and they're not there to help each other. They're there to just backstab each other and only help each other to the extent that it serves their own means. So that's what I really like about this. It's like in the absence of the Jedi, the Inquisitors are like that anti-council. And it's just like everything that's corrupt about them. Obviously, the Jedi from the prequels, we know they're not the best. High Republic are the best, obviously.
Yes.
But still, in concept, right? The Jedi serve one function, and the Inquisitors are like that opposite version of them. So just like in terms of like that visual storytelling of the episode, I thought it's just wonderful. I mean, in terms of like the cinematography and like how everything's framed, it's great. Obviously, it's a little slower, and I think especially after what happened in part 3, I think it's fair that they pumped the brakes a little bit. I'm not sure that jailbreak might have been the best decision, but I do like that they had time to have Obi-Wan had like a more personal journey to discover himself instead of having like a bombastic thing, because he needs to take time for himself. I think sometimes we need to find ourselves in quiet moments, not loud ones, because he will have he is going to have the rematch. So he needs,
of course.
I know that's going to happen. I just think a better tool for maybe him finding himself was this theory that we've been having. Again, it's wanting the show to be what we want instead of what it actually is, of him connecting with Qui-Gon and somehow,
he will.
We're still holding on to that one. Okay.
Next episode. And if it doesn't happen in part 6, it'll happen in part 7. They're gonna give us a bonus episode.
If it truly emulates, then we have Yoda. So who's gonna be Obi-Wan's Yoda? It's gonna be
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon. Yes.
So
Yes.
I like that.
I like that. Thank you. Thank you for saying it.
I'm just feeding the
feed it, please.
Yes.
I'm hungry. Yes. Please feed it. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. I hope not. See, now you put that in my mind. I'm gonna be disappointed next episode.
Well, it's even for some, like, I'm glad you all mentioned that's been trending around, because I'm like, that was already in my mind, and I'm like, I'm completely disconnected from any of
social
this
media and everything.
Social media. So I'm like,
as you should.
I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes. I guess I'm like, we're on the right track. I'm not crazy. I am, but not.
Well, we all are. But yeah, because part 1 is episode 1, because you go to a desert planet, and then you have to go with a kid and like do the rescue thing. Yeah. Then and part 2 is like the noir mystery, where you go to a water planet and you go to like the planet with the neon, and it's kind of like discovering what's happening.
The stealth investigation detective episode, and then
part 3, the
part
clash
3.
with friends. Yeah.
And then
you get the burn, you get everything.
And the reversal this time of Obi-Wan being the one that gets burned. And
I know.
And again,
he's gotten burned twice, though. We have to always acknowledge
Uncle
Owen burned him
first. Yes, that was glorious.
Was a solid burn.
And some injuries are on the heart.
There's no Bacta tank for that burn.
Yeah.
There's no Bacta tank for that one.
No,
that sticks and stones may never hurt me. That's not true. Some words, especially when it's Uncle Owen.
Really do hurt. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but now with
You
that
don't- you don't know
perspective
one. You don't
of
know
the
one.
fact that they mirror the episodes, like the films, I need to rewatch them again with that point of view. like,
Yes.
And
Well,
it makes
From a
sense.
certain point of view.
From a
yeah,
certain
yeah.
point of view.
From
From a
certain
certain point of view, yeah. So that
Which-
means would we have bounty hunters the next one?
oh,
Well, it will be whatever the Riva chase will be the equivalent of the bounty hunter. Well,
Yes.
that
uh,
too.
and
Well, if
then
Boba Fett's gonna show up in the slave one.
I mean, possible,
Ah,
They already got Temuera, yeah. So it's just a DH him and you can do Boba Fett. Do it.
yeah.
I mean, you don't even have to DH him. Just show
A
like
helmet,
Just
yeah.
show the
helmet.
helmet and
Yeah.
yeah.
And we know Cat Bane can be done in live action too.
Oh, yes.
It's too much, too much. Stop it.
Too
Stop.
much, too much.
Stop.
I mean, I'm just saying that rewatch, you guys saw that they recommended all these episodes from the Clone Wars, and they recommended that one where when Obi-Wan pretends to be dead and
Mm,
the Rako
yes,
Harkin.
yeah.
Hey, Cat Bane was important
Oh,
part
yeah.
of those episodes.
So we're not going that far off from the possibilities.
My God.
Oh my god.
We're
Yeah.
already steering into.
Yeah,
expectations.
yeah,
know.
we're
We're
saying
We're going to
We're
Quinlan
like-
boss territory. It's like, here we go.
I
It's
know.
not good to theorize. Let's
I know.
go.
Let's
just
go.
theorize it.
Oh, but
Yeah.
it's still
Well,
part of the
well,
fun.
well,
Even
well,
when we're disappointed,
yeah,
it's still
yeah.
fun to speculate about
Oh,
it. You know,
yes.
this
But-
is what's so
but-
great about the fact that they're not released all together. And
I
I used to
know.
be the kind of person that loved binging, but now I'm just like
Oh.
I really enjoy just the anticipation of every episode week to week, and talking
Same.
about with everybody and thinking about what's gonna happen in the next one. And it's like, oh, I didn't thought that, but oh, this was better. Oh, this was worse. Oh, okay. Let me rewatch it without the expectations and rethink it. And since it's only 6 episodes too, I mean, once the whole thing is done, and it's been so seamless, the connections between each episode, that it's gonna be great to actually just watch it once you know everything and just like inhale the story. Because
Yeah.
It's been seamless. It's been seamless, but it doesn't feel like they're just like one big movie. Like each episode still self-contained,
a
which I really
purpose.
appreciate it.
I
It's not
love
like
that.
some shows that are supposed to be binged, where it's just like they just piggyback off the next one. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, it's just like one big movie.
Yeah.
Then. I prefer this format in terms of like obviously the series has an arc, but then each episode has its own self-contained story.
yeah, and it gives you more room for storytelling.
Of course. More.
Yeah.
Because that's the
Space.
problem with binging, right? Because with Stranger Things, for example,
By the time you get to the end, you forget what happened at the beginning.
exactly,
Exactly.
Yeah.
and you you forget about it. You're
Mhm.
done. But with going back old school, like back in my day, with
Yeah.
cable TV, and just doing the weekly release, you were able to enjoy it and appreciate it, and then like have a whole week to just dissect it and sit on it. So it stays in your consciousness a little better, and then you're able to digest the series
Yeah.
a bit as a whole more and be a little more appreciative, I think. Because
Yeah.
binging is just like it's instant gratification.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but
It's
afterwards,
awesome, but then you're like, okay, next.
Yeah.
it's vacuous. It's just
Yeah.
okay, well,
It's
done.
just, what happens next instead of thinking about what already happened. It's like, oh, just
Exactly.
give me the next stuff. More, feed me. But
Yeah. And from a perspective of the content, I think obviously how long we've been waiting for a Kenobi show, but
I know.
anyway, talking, it's longer the time the content stays trendy on
Yeah.
media
Mhm.
and on social media compared to, okay, we release, we binge, and
we're done.
we're done.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Over
mhm,
in a
mhm.
weekend, we don't care anymore. Bye.
Yeah, and you have
Mhm.
some level of conversation, but not at the same level.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
So,
Especially with all the interviews and everything that have been going on with the characters, so you get to see their perspective on coming back to these characters after so many years, after they were
Yes.
severely criticized for so many years.
Redemption, yeah.
Yeah.
And isn't that what
except from
Star
the
Wars is
haters.
about? Well, but the haters
Yeah.
Yeah.
haters are always gonna hate.
And look, and
Keep
you'll
them aside.
mention Game of Thrones, and yeah, I'll be mad as how they ended up, but
Oh yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
like, okay, if there's something else, something new, I'm not gonna keep talking trash about it and
No.
predisposed to hate it, right?
Let's move on.
And
Yeah.
that's what I feel some fans are like that. They are predisposed to hate.
Yeah. And they will
Something is-
hate regardless. Yeah.
Exactly.
If
It's
they go
like,
this direction, they'll hate, but if they go the other one, they'll hate regardless.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
So,
Because they make their personality about just not just disliking the thing instead of just accepting or even letting go of the thing, which is like for me the sadder part.
Oh, definitely.
Like they define their personality by what they hate, which I think is a really sad way to live.
Yeah,
It's just like
I agree.
that's what media and fandoms are about. It's about enjoying and loving and being positive and uplifting. And if you just define yourself by
and I think
who can live that life full of negativity? I don't get it.
I agree. I mean, I've been learning through this journey with Star Wars is that, of course, there are things in these stories that call to you and what you love, you appreciate. So, and of course, sometimes things are not going to go the way you think they are going to go. But at the end of the day, you think, okay, what are the positives? What are the negatives? Yeah, it outweighs the negatives. And it's a lot of different stories that can be explored. So of course, it's a personal decision, but I think, well, just enjoy and get on the ride. Yes.
And you need it to change and evolve and get better, sometimes worse if you don't like it. But if it stays the same, it just stagnates and it's boring and it's the same story over and over again. And you get no growth from that.
Yeah.
So,
which is the interesting thing. People just want it to be the same. It's like, if you just want the same,
like,
then just watch the old.
Just watch the old.
Yeah, the pew pew and lightsabers. So yeah.
Exactly.
Which is still good. But
I know.
It's still great. It's great.
Of course, don't get me wrong.
Don't come for us.
But there's been so much more, character studies now, like you were saying now about and really diving into these characters and to see, actors like Hugh McGregor, who when he started this years ago and he was just kind of trying to emulate Alec Guinness, but somehow grew into the role throughout. And then so many years later, just committing to go into it again and giving a whole new dimension to the character that we haven't seen yet. So now we've seen him all these different stages. And I think it's amazing, honestly. I had no idea I was going to enjoy the show so much because I was like, oh, they keep doing the same characters, but it's a completely new version of these characters. And Leia has been a revelation.
I love her so much.
Little Leia.
Vivian is so good. That actress is amazing. How she is able, like when she's being interrogated, her facial features and everything, and she looks like Carrie Fisher. It's insane. And I've seen some pictures in Twitter and stuff, how they compare like how her outfits are designed to emulate some outfits from Leia. And it's so genius how they're doing it because it's not an imitation. It's just like an elevating of that character.
Yeah.
In a different age, full of innocence, but still the only person that can really get through to Obi-Wan. And I'm pretty sure she got through the Reva too. We're seeing some
she's
cracks
gonna get
in
through
Reva
Reva.
there.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, but I was laughing at the beginning, like, do you know who my father is?
Yeah, I was just like, Leia,
I am
going
a
into white
princess
privilege
of
mode.
Alderaan.
I know, but
you went into white privilege. I would do the same probably that situation. It's like,
she's 10 years old. She needs to defend herself with her position.
True.
I was just thinking during
you pull all privilege.
Cacao. Yeah, you're like, okay.
No, one thing I was thinking while the interrogation and how she was about to torture her and such is like, oh my god, if Vader knew Leia was his daughter, oh my god, Reva would be dead already.
Oh yeah. But that interrogation was actually really good, not just because of the performance. She got almost
already. Almost dead.
She got almost dead.
Like imagine, like, guess what? She's your Padmé and George's daughter. What?
He's like,
and you're gonna torture my daughter? Excuse me?
But that was a good interrogation scene, not just because of like the interaction between Reva and Little Leia, but also because obviously it harkens back to the Force Awakens and have like Little Leia be like doing the Force, like just like Kylo Ren was doing to Rey, the whole mind thing in the interrogation back then, the staring contest, and then now have like
that was a great line.
I love
it. Kind of ties that back. It's just like, well, Leia's been on that opposite side, so like it's kind of like the mirroring. I think this is the cool thing about all the new media that we're getting from Disney Plus and everything, is that those connections, not just between the prequel trilogy, but now obviously with the sequels, because when we saw the Jedi tomb in the Fortress Inquisitoris, I'm absolutely absolutely sure, and I'm pretty sure that that's going to tie into the clones, the clones we saw in The
Yeah.
Mandalorian. And it's
Somehow
gonna tie
Palpatine
into
returns.
yeah, and Papa
Yeah, because it's
Palpatine has
using
something
Palpatine.
going on,
to
yeah.
experiment from
Palpatine.
dead Jedi's
Palpatine.
and what terrible. Oh,
Yeah.
and that little Padawan in the
Oh,
tomb. And he looked just like the one that, you know,
Master
Master
Skywalker, there's
Skywalker.
too many of them. What are we going to do? And then
uncanny.
Yeah, and Anakin's just like, I'm going to keep you.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
know,
cute.
no.
You called me
You're
master.
cute. Yeah,
I'm gonna
Oh.
keep
exactly.
Call me master.
Oh,
I'm evil. I
Too
can't
late.
keep you
You call me
alive. But
master.
you. You showed respect.
you granted me the rank of master, so you get to take that, Mace Windu. The little one, the Padawan respected me, the youngling. I do think, and now we're getting into like the speculation part of the episode. I do think though that the setup of the Jedi tomb is not going to be explored in this show.
No,
This is
they're
a
gonna
setup
leave
for
it there.
something else.
yeah.
So I'm not having any expectations on that.
Jedi Fallen Order 2.
Jedi Fallen Order 2.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Because I think Fallen Order 2 actually might take place around Obi-Wan Kenobi, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yes.
Because I think Fallen Order took place a couple of years before. I don't know how many, but I think that Jedi Survivors is the name of the sequel, takes place in this time frame. So it makes sense.
That'd
maybe.
be super cool.
So, but I'm not gonna have any expectations on the Jedi tomb. So let's start speculating responsibly. What do we expect? What do we expect to see on part 5? Mo, let's start with you.
Oh, I think if we're gonna follow the mirroring, there's gonna be, we're gonna get finally the one, the
Ah.
only Qui-Gon.
Papa Qui-Gon.
We're also gonna get the Empire winning. It's not gonna be a happy ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't think, interesting. So you don't think that the Empire winning we're gonna leave it at part 3, or you think there's gonna be a win-win now in part 5?
No, I mean, no, because part 3 wasn't a win for the Empire. Part 3 was just a personal matter between Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Good point.
And Obi-Wan got away.
Yeah,
Mm.
this now is the Empire represented by Riva.
Okay.
It's like this. I think it's Riva, and this. It's like the Vader of.
Yes.
So we I don't think we're gonna get anybody like carbonated or anything, but who knows? Maybe
Who knows? Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe Leia is gonna be trapped again or something.
No, don't say
No.
no. We can't do that again. We
can't.
already
No
have
more-
one
No.
prison break. Yeah.
No more taking away children. No more possible children torture.
I mean,
Please.
we yeah. There could be a lot of consequences for Tala. I think
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know.
so. So that could be
Yeah.
the beginning, like the person that gets kidnapped that needs to get rescued on the last
Mhm.
episode. So there's
Or maybe
that.
she gets dead. Who knows?
No.
I mean, let's go. If this could be, they can be going darker, and
Yes.
Mhm.
and the Empire is gonna win. So somebody might
True.
die.
No.
NoorHal, what
That's
do
just
you think?
speculation. That's just speculation.
No. I get
But it
it.
was responsible speculation. You didn't
You're
go with like
responsible.
Sabine's gonna show up. She's gonna save the day because she's been hiding in a cave somewhere.
I don't know. Qui-Gon is gonna show up, but that is
Why?
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering. I mean, from what I heard, I think I've read some interviews or something about Aunt Beru that
Mhm.
she's gonna show up, but I don't think it's gonna be on part 5, maybe on part 6.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're gonna go to Tatooine. It's like this is
Right,
the last
Catherine,
place
Come back.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan wants
Mhm.
Vader or the Empire nearby. But I think, yeah, definitely would love to see, like, obviously Qui-Gon, some flashbacks. This is the thing. I mean, they brought back Hayden, which is fantastic, but I don't
Yeah.
Mhm.
think they're just gonna bring him to where, and not even where they use stunts and for Vader's, and just have him on the back the tank, and not even
Mhm,
doing the voice because it's James Earl
It's
Jones.
Jones. Yeah.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
I would
mhm,
definitely
mhm.
love to see that and how that could be placed. Of course, yeah, we're gonna see the consequence of poor Lola being
I know. The
I know.
tracker.
The
No,
damn
she's
tracker.
gonna survive. She has to
That,
survive.
that
Yeah.
really
Yes.
pissed me off, honestly. I was like, it's gonna be Lola and it's gonna upset me.
I
And,
know.
yep.
What I'm interested is to see, okay, if we get any answers yet
Mhm.
about the Grand Inquisitor,
Yeah,
Mhm.
what happened? Yeah.
what happened? I mean, is he dead or
He's alive.
all
he's
they've
alive.
said is like, of course he's alive, but oh yeah, we're not gonna contradict canon. But it's like, yeah, but what is gonna happen?
Yeah. Where is he actually? What is happening? What is he being used
That's gonna
for?
be the
Yeah.
Riva spin-off show, and then that's gonna deal with like Grand Inquisitor trying to get revenge on her for stabbing him.
Yeah. And definitely,
For all the
I
haters, that would be
really-
great.
I know, right? I would love to learn more about Riva because
Yeah.
so far I thought she's a really interesting character. She's like what the Sith is like. Hey, she doesn't care about who she goes above and
Mhm.
kills in her way to get what she wants.
Mhm.
And I would definitely, of course, like I have the theory that she's one of the Padawans, the younglings at the
Yeah,
beginning.
at the beginning,
Oh, yeah.
probably. Mhm.
Yeah.
So
She has
I
to be.
I want to learn why she's so obsessed with Kenobi. I mean, it's another character that is uber obsessed with Kenobi, like Maul. I mean, I just keep thinking, what if they met Riva and Maul? That would be a like both obsessed with Kenobi.
Oh.
Like,
Oh my god.
give me that what if Star Wars, please.
They need to do a what if show. Yeah.
Wow.
But it would have, I mean, because the Visions is more or less of a what. No, what if would be different because it's more
It's
about
different.
like, the actual storyline
Mhm.
with different.
Like, what
variants.
if Obi-Wan? What if Satine has said the word? Something like
Yes.
that. Give
And
me
it's just a
that.
romantic comedy, just them in
Yes.
Mandalore going on honeymoon to Naboo or something.
That'd be glorious.
Hey, I
Yes.
watched that.
I would watch that.
There'll be like so many things that are I would love like all of those things, but I don't think we're gonna get any of them. I mean, I think we're gonna get the maskless like Darth Vader, but on the sixth
Mhm.
episode to emulate the maskless Darth Vader on the sixth
Rebels.
episode.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
On episode 6 on
on
Return of the
episode-
Jedi.
on Return of the Jedi, you have Vader without the mask. So here you
Yeah.
have Vader without the mask, but like diving more into the dark side instead
Oh,
of
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Besides just no, go for it.
Yeah, it would be. It makes me think of Rebels season 2, the finale where
Mhm, yeah.
Ahsoka breaks. Oh, that's
Oh,
fantastic.
oh wow, yeah, that was insane. That's so
And
good.
you get to
There's
see
so
his
many.
face, and then it's like Matt Latner's voice with James Earl Jones like mixed together,
Yeah.
so they could do the same thing as Hayden
Yes.
and James Earl Jones. Good.
I would
Would
love
be
that.
Nani.
epic.
What do you think?
I think, honestly, because we're
Yeah,
getting
gotta
the
be honest with
episodes
yourself.
because they've been doing the episodes, but they've been kind of reversing the role.
Mhm.
That I think the next one might not be necessarily Empire. I think episode 6 might be one that they lose.
Mhm, mhm.
Like he
Interesting,
starts to
okay.
get back his his
Mhm.
power in the next one and everything, and then you have the final showdown, and maybe he ends up, pretending to get defeated or something so he can slink away and go back into obscurity. Because if I think you end it with him like demolishing Vader would have gone after him. I don't think he would have just
Mhm.
let him go into oblivion, so
Yeah,
I think it might be reversed, and then the next episode it's the Jedi getting stronger, Obi-Wan getting stronger, maybe the connection with Leia getting stronger, and then it might be defeat in the 6th episode and it's reversed.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting
Mhm.
because I do think that there's I agree with parts of that because I do think that Obi-Wan's gonna win the fight
Yeah.
because obviously he's the hero, so he needs to win. But I
Yeah.
think he wins it in a way where he fakes his own death so that
Yeah.
Vader thinks he's dead
Mhm.
because it's just
Yeah.
that's why he doesn't look
because
for
he
him.
would,
He's like, oh well.
because he's already been chasing him. I mean, if you've established in this whole series that he's chasing
Mhm.
Obi-Wan, if he utterly defeats him, do you think he would have given up? He wouldn't have.
Yeah,
Exactly.
or at least to live it in such a way that he thinks that
That he
everything
won.
that he won. Because
Mhm.
if in A New Hope is it's a presence I haven't felt since, and then he
Yeah.
goes with Tarkin and like, yeah, Kenobi should be dead by now. So
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Well, maybe it's like Frank Miller's comic, The Dark Knight Returns, where it's just like, yeah, technically Batman defeats Superman, but then like he fakes that he has the heart attack and like he supposedly dies and all that stuff. So it kind of like a stalemate type of thing. So I think maybe that's the direction they're going with this fight. Like technically Obi-Wan wins, but technically so does Vader,
and
because
probably Obi-Wan wins because Obi-Wan is gonna find his center again, his power.
Yes.
But in that power, he
that reminded me of
eludes
Scott Pilgrim
Vader.
versus the World. Scott Pilgrim, discover the power of self-respect.
Yes. Hey, the power of self-respect is important.
It's the most important power. It's the
So-
most
I
important
do
power.
agree.
I know. After self-love.
No, they're co-equals.
Yeah.
You have to self-love to have self-respect.
But I think it has to be something like that, because if it's just like an utter destruction again, Vader would have continued to hunt him.
Yeah,
So that
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
make sense. It has to be somewhere in between that Vader believes he wins or Vader believes he kills him, or
Mhm.
some sort of that version of that, but that Obi-Wan himself finds his true power. And then then it would make sense for him to be that Zen powerful person who defeats Darth Maul with one swing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yes.
So
I do think we're getting the flash. I mean, for me, the flashbacks inevitable, because I agree with the NoorHal
Please.
saying. We've been saying it since the beginning. It's like you don't cast Hayden to not have him as Anakin, especially, and we're a broken record with this, especially when you've already had Vader in Rogue One and other stuff, and you've had other actors portray him.
Yeah.
Bringing back
and you
Hayden
already
is very
had
purposeful.
like that hallucination that Obi-Wan had, which might have not been a hallucination. Maybe it was Vader himself, like projecting himself
Force
to
projecting
look.
like Luke.
The force
Yeah.
projection. Yes.
Yeah. And we see
But,
him from far away. He looks
yeah.
extremely creepy, hooded and
pissed off,
everything. So
He has
I feel like
that
it's
scowl from
necessary.
episode 3 when he's like looking out after he killed all the separatists.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, in Rebels season 2, where Ahsoka is in the temple at Lothal, and she sees this image of Anakin, like Ahsoka, you know what I've become, and then it morphs into Vader. I mean, that would be fantastic if he has some kind of
That with Obi-Wan. Yeah.
oof.
Oof.
Mo, go for it.
I'm gonna throw the speculation here.
Here we go.
We're gonna see that Hayden in Obi-Wan's like cave next episode. Since Luke saw Vader, Anakin's gonna see Anakin. I mean,
Obi-Wan's gonna see
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan, you know.
in the cave.
It's interesting. I mean, that could be a good one, but I was thinking that if there's the flashback, which I think we're gonna get, I think it's not gonna happen part 4. I think it's gonna part 5. I think it's gonna happen part 6, and it's gonna be like Obi-Wan at peace. He's finished the mission, and he's just looking out, and then just remembering. It's gonna be like a happy memory of Anakin and just them together, you know, during the Clone Wars, having
that
like
would
some
break my
fun
heart.
banter. And here's the wild card. Here's the wild card. Natalie Portman might be in the scene, because they set her up so much.
Yes.
Like it's so much Padme. And because here's and I mentioned it a couple episodes ago. Since they were filming Thor: Love and Thunder, like in Australia, and I think they have one of the volumes down there.
Yes.
It wouldn't be that hard to really like have Natalie Portman film something while she's doing that. It's a Disney production after all, and then just insert her into like a scene with Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme, and just kind of finish the show with a happy flashback of the 3 of them.
Oh,
my
yes.
God.
Mace Windu's taking the picture.
And Mace Windu, no,
Yes.
Mace Windu's grumpy. He's just like, you're not a
grumpy.
master. Yeah, you're not a master, and she's a civilian. I'm not taking a picture.
Citizen.
A citizen.
Citizen.
That's it.
Oh my God. That would a scene like that would like totally break me though.
Yeah,
Oh
if
my
I see
God,
Natalie
that-
Portman, I'll explode. Yeah, I
that
mean,
would be
seeing
fantastic.
Hayden, I'll explode. But seeing Hayden and Natalie Portman,
And Natalie Portman, please.
yeah, I'll probably throw my TV out the window because I don't know how to control my emotions. Like, Yes. But yeah, I don't think we're getting anything crazy. We're not getting quite Quinlan. We're not getting like any of those things. I think it's gonna be very Obi-Wan centric. We're getting obviously the next showdown with Darth Vader. We're obviously getting some reveals with Reva. Qui-Gon. We're getting Qui-Gon.
Oh, yes.
I think it makes sense to see him twice. Obviously, I think Mo, what you said makes sense about having him come to Obi-Wan now in next episode, since Obi-Wan's gonna have found his connection to the Force again. And then I think he might show up in part 6 again to be like, hey, good job, Padawan. let's continue our training now.
And continue the-
or it's time for me to leave and then just disappears with the
Check it.
Yeah, peace out. No.
Well, he has to continue the actual journey because he needs to be able to connect with the Force in A New Hope.
Yeah, and
So-
actually, I think in one of the stories of from a certain point of view for A New Hope, I think the one Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray, he still sees Force Ghost Qui-Gon before going on a journey with Luke. So
Yeah. Please.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes, just do it. Just do it. Just
do
come
it.
on, Just do it.
I feel like Shia LaBeouf. Do it.
do it. I've never asked you for anything, Lucasfilm. Well, I'd lied. I exaggerated.
We asked, bro.
I exaggerate. I have, but
But this one
very
is important.
sincere asking. That is very important.
yes.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that was some responsible
Healthy.
speculation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
As
having
opposed to
fun.
last week where you're just like everything's
Joanne.
happening now. We're gonna have 10,000 flashbacks. The team's gonna be in it. It's gonna be Kate Blanchett. It's gonna be Quinlan
Oh,
Voss
yes,
doing the
please.
thing. Asajj Ventress is coming too.
I mean, yeah, I know the probability is so remote, but if that happens, no. Yeah.
Season two.
Remember
Yeah.
my dear Obi-Wan. Ah!
Oh my God.
Well, and now that they confirmed that like he went by Ben because that's what she used to call him. Now it makes sense. Anyway,
Control expectations.
yeah, we have to wait less than a week for part 5, so the wait's getting shorter with each passing day. The unfortunate thing is that then we're also that
And
much
it's
closer
done.
to just ending the show.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But with that, I think this is a good ending point. I think unless someone else has like a final comment that they wish to add. Great. Otherwise, NoorHal, I know you're very active on the Twitter sphere, so why don't you let everyone know where they can find you if they want to follow you and like see your thoughts on social media or Instagram. What are your socials?
Oh, thank you. Thank you again so much for having me. I had so much fun, but you all can find me on Twitter at NoorHal. I have a link tree on my bio to check my different pursuits. You can find me on Instagram at NoorHal Music. I have my YouTube channel, NoorHal, where I Noor-Hal, like Obi-Wan. So
Oh,
exactly. So hello there, where I upload my videos. So, but yeah, definitely if you want to hear my thoughts on Star Wars, Marvel, music, and different things, yeah, please follow me, join me.
Perfect. And we'll leave the links to those in the description below, so that's easier for you to find her. So please go ahead and do that because it's amazing content. Friend of the channel for a long time, so we're finally happy that we got to connect and share some time here. Obviously, won't be the last, so thank you for the first.
And especially if you love the Marvel stuff, we need to talk some more Marvel. We need to go back to that too.
Yes.
Yes.
I love that.
I know. Well, anyway, with that, thank you so much, NoorHal, for finally joining us on the channel. We will definitely have you back when we do more things. And with that, we are Triad of the Force. You can follow us anywhere that podcasts can be found. We're on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search Triad of the Force and you will find us. We have t-shirts and stuff in
not this one.
Awesome.
Awesome.
And until next time, we will continue to do weekly episodes of regular material. Plus, we're gonna do Obi-Wan till the end. We'll see how it goes. We are very excited. Goodbye for now. May the Force be with you.